Oh my gosh, I seriously apologise for the delay of this video. I have some good news. I've had the twins. They are now, well, they'll be 4 weeks tomorrow. It's been very hectic. Very, very hectic, mind. I don't know if you can see bags under my eyes, lack of sleep, but it's been good, it's been exciting. My story begins with, they were born on the 24th of May, and it was one was born at, the boy was born at, it was 8:30, which was 20:35, there it says, and I've called him Jean-Paul, and the girl Richey, she was born 12 minutes later at 20:47, 1:45, and her name's Richey. Yes. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to end up editing this video because I'm just like in a hurry because I'm literally using the few minutes I do have in the day to do this video, hence the reason why I haven't done any, because I've not had any time and whatever. Yes, so what happened that day? I went in for a routine CTG, and that was the second one, because I did go for the first one. Remember when I mentioned that I was going for one? Well, I went for a second one on the Friday the 24th of May, and I was telling them about the pressure that I was feeling, which was like more down below, and then they just decided to do like a routine check, internal check, and they seen that I was 3 centimeters dilated. I wasn't feeling contractions or anything like that, even though now and again I did, like during the week I was feeling like odd bits and bobs, but I thought that was just the Braxton Hicks, but apparently that was part of the labour, but it wasn't painful or anything. It was just a bit uncomfortable, especially when it would get to a really hard feel, you know, like when the Braxton Hicks would come and it was a really hard feeling on my stomach. That was uncomfortable. What else? Then they decided that because I lived outside of Gibraltar, it was best that I stayed in, and then they would induce me, which was probably one of the worst pains I've ever been through. So I agreed to stay. I didn't have any of my bags, nothing. So obviously I hadn't planned to, have the babies that particular day. It was only supposed to have been a routine checkup. And then what happened? Sorry, I'm like, even though I'm in a hurry, I'm kind of trying to make sure I say what I've got to say. Then what happened? So they put me into the labour ward, induced me, and then during them doing, inducing me, they asked if I was wanting to have the epidural, and I was quite adamant that I didn't want the epidural, but then they said because of baby number 2, which was the girl, was what's it called when you're upside down? Oh my God. I don't know what's wrong with me, because the little girl was breached. Jesus Christ, I couldn't think then. Because the little girl was breached, and the little boy who was coming first was head down. They thought that, well, I can try and give birth naturally to the first one, but then they would have to turn the breached baby, which can be quite uncomfortable. So they did recommend that I would have the epidural, and then if any complications would occur, it's a lot easier to have like a C-section, because then I've already had the epidural done to me and stuff. So I said yeah. So a few hours went by and I had contractions and whatnot, and then I was waiting for the anaesthetist to arrive. He arrived, had it done. I actually asked how long it takes for the epidural to actually start working. He mentioned about 20-25 minutes, and an hour went by after having the epidural done, and nothing. It wasn't like how it was on TV, where the women are sitting there and saying, "Oh yes, I feel so fantastic. I can feel the contractions, but I'm not feeling the pain. No, it was like that for me. I was feeling pain, and it was 10 times worse than my daughter, who was like obviously 11 years previous, because it was induced. And when you have it induced, it just tops the pain. It's wow. So I was crying, and it wasn't even like, okay, the pain was making me cry, but it wasn't even more the pain. It was the fact that I felt kind of disappointed on doing something I didn't want to do, and then I kind of calculated at least an hour before it started working, and it didn't work at all. So I was like, what a waste of time. And then the pain sort of topped it again, and I was just like, oh, come on. So then they called the anaesthetist, but then because it's such a small hospital, they only have literally one on the go, one in the day and then one at night. And so I had to wait for him, because then he was in the midst of doing a C-section, and they said, oh, you know, he'd be about half an hour, 40 minutes. So I'm lying there going through all these contractions, and these contractions are coming very quickly. They'll come in I'm not lying to you, like as soon as one finished, within 30 seconds the next one arrived, and I was just like, oh, come on, for the life of me. I thought, give me a couple minute break, you know. But that didn't happen. What happened? Yeah, so my fella, he decides to use his accountancy skills and say, oh, you know, you'll be fine. There's only such and such, like 38 contractions to go, approximately, before he arrives. Really? Do I need to hear that? Just the time alone was enough. Then I had to Then I had to think about how many contractions approximately before the anaesthetist arrived. Even if he said it was only 5, that's a lot. But then he calculated 38 or something, and I was just like, I wanted to strangle him. I said, get out my face. Ugh, the thought of it. Yeah, so the anaesthetist arrived again. I was taking the gas and air, which I don't like, but then at that point I loved it, and I was getting really high, and and then apparently I told the anaesthetist that he doesn't know how to do his job. How embarrassing! Oh, and I don't even remember saying that, but I did. So anyway, just making a very long story short, because it was obviously several hours, because my CTG appointment was at 10, or was it 11? 10 or 11, I can't remember now, and the babies weren't born until 8:30 and 7:45. So it was a long process, but yeah, the little boy came out. I pushed him out naturally, and they put him on me straight away, and honestly it was like all these emotions just came through, and it was amazing. I was crying, I couldn't stop saying hello Jean-Paul. I remember saying that like 50 times. And then I looked at my fellow, and he had tears in his eyes. He got a bit emotional as well. It was nice. And then so then they obviously took him away, and then all of a sudden, because they bought all the scanning equipment to check on the little girl, to see how she was positioned and stuff like that. By the time they did check, she had already gone down, but she had gone down bum first, so she was 100% breached. So they said, well, this is it, you're going to have to just deliver breached. And thank God for the epidural, because then it started working the second time round, so I didn't feel as much pain. I was just feeling the pressure and stuff like that. So I delivered her breached, and the emotions wasn't the same with her. And it sounds bad when I say this, but it wasn't because I didn't feel anything for her. It's because she came out silent, and it was more of like we didn't even breathe. I don't think anyone breathed in the actual whole delivery room. And what it was because she had the cord wrapped around her neck a few times, and they had to resuscitate her. So as soon as that happened, that's when we started breathing, and then that's when it was like like that. But it wasn't like how it was with the boy, where it was straight on me and then started crying and whatever. It was like we were hoping everything was fine, kind of thing, praying and whatever. And then as soon as she started getting some air and stuff like that, and started breathing and crying out. And then she was placed on me, and then that's when, you know, it was all like, oh, thank God. And then they made me breastfeed the babies straight away, which was good. So, you know, the whole delivery thing was kind of quick, really. You know, like when you're in it, it's kind of quick, but then when you think about how long it actually was a long time, really. It didn't seem that long in it whilst I was in it, to be fair. Yeah, so had the babies, stayed in hospital, shockingly. Normally you stay in, for a couple of days or something, but I had to stay in for 2 weeks because one of the babies was quite small. He was only £4.13, so that's classed as small. So they wanted him to put on weight before I left, and so you know, I had to stay in for that. And then all of a sudden, I started having headaches and stuff. My blood pressure went skyrocketing high, and I ended up in the ICU. It was kind of dangerous, you know. So I had to get all checked up and that. So I was in there for a while until my blood pressure went down. I couldn't go home, and then on the 13th day, they let me go with my babies, and then since then, it's been fantastic. And it's been tiring. You know, it's not easy because it's 2, but it's been eventful, and I've enjoyed every second. And I'm seeing that the babies are growing, and I'm like, oh, don't grow anymore. But you know, it's good fun. What I'm gonna do? Hello. This is the better light. Okay. Now I'm gonna show you my baby after 5 weeks of having the babies. I will say beforehand that I do recommend breastfeeding. It's worked for me twice. I breastfed my daughter, and you know, nutritional wise, it helped my daughter, and at the same time, it helped me ping back as quick as possible. And I found that it done it again. It made me ping back again. So I recommend breastfeeding in a sense, both for you and the baby. Anyway, before I go on and on, I will quickly show you my stomach. Okay, let me get you a better angle. Okay, here we go. That's my stomach now. Dun, dun, dun. I no longer have the belly bar in. I'm getting it back in. I feel so naked here without my belly bar. It's like, oh no. That's me holding my stomach in. That's me letting it out. It's just gone back. It's like pretty good. Stretch marks that I've got. This was for my daughter originally anyway, these stretch marks. I never actually had many down here, but obviously my stomach went just a little bit bigger than it originally did with my daughter. So the stretch marks have come back again. I don't know if you can see it, just here. But that is, you know, who's bothered about that? I'm proud of it. That doesn't bother me. Yeah, so that's my belly. What I try and do is do at least a monthly update for you to see them grow up, you know, at least for the first year. And if you're interested, just to see them grow up and stuff. So, yeah, here we go anyway. Let me quickly show you them. Got them sleeping. I'm sure you can figure out which one's the girl and which one's the boy. Yeah. So, yeah, once again, thank you for watching. I feel terrible, and I know I look terrible. I just think of milk and crazy stuff like that. Oh, he's waking up. All right. Yeah, so thanks for watching again, and yeah, see you next month.